the sheriff of Baghdad, or Shrek. You are a retired U.S. Army Special Operations Sergeant Major.
And according to the U.S. Army, John is a retired Master Sergeant. That is an E8.
Say it ain't so. What is going on? I heard about this. Nate and I talk, and Santa's not real. I'm a big Shrek fan, or I was a big Shrek fan. The details of this, check Nate's video out, are so gut-wrenching. It's long. It's not good. Not good. Stand by.
Revocation of John McPhee.
In 90 or whatever it was, I broke my leg, landed in a minefield, had a walk with broken bones, and then yeah.
All right. So John says there in Mike Ritland's podcast, I believe that was less than a week ago, that he jumped into Iraq during Desert Storm in 1990.
Well, hold on a second. So I was in then, before Desert Storm. And I don't remember anybody jumping, but, information is limited. And I heard that statement from Shrek, and I go, Rangers jumped into a minefield, Desert Storm. Called some friends, they're like, nah. And then I found out he got in. Hold on.
Into an Iraqi minefield. That's an insane story. Now, when I look at these service records, the first thing I notice is John didn't join the military until January of 1991.
That's the part that got me. I thought maybe he missed the dates up. A minefield, like a whole battalion. Rangers jumping in. I remember I heard it, and I sent it to Nate, and I go, that doesn't seem right. Why is there a flex on this one? Doesn't make sense. I mean, you get the dates wrong. I get all that. He wasn't even in. Desert Storm was long gone. He's a Delta guy. He's had admirable service for at least 16 years of his career. You don't make E9 unless you're just an absolute stud, right? Nate goes into it. You need to check it out. The last 3 years of his career, I'm going to say he had some problems, significant problems.
Are the investigation and the Special Forces tab revocation of John McPhee. Everything I show you in this entire episode will be backed up by documents from either USASOC or U.S. Army Human Resource Command.
For the record, Nate shared some of it with me. I've seen not all of it. It's very real. It's very ugly. I had to stop looking. I go, that's enough. Some of it is, I just don't even want to. It's not like war stories or, he had problems on the way out. Again, 16 years of what appears to be impeccable service. Fighting a war, Delta, E9, all of it. The last part, I wish I hadn't seen it.
All right, so first document we're going to look at here in the linear chain of events of the Special Forces tab revocation amongst, as you'll see here, the revocation of the Green Beret. The MOS changed from 18 series, which is Green Beret, 18 Zulu, to 11 Zulu and infantrymen.
That's jarheads that are kind of stupid. That means he got lost his job, so he goes from being Special Forces guy, Green Beret, to down to the grunts. Just back to the infantry. So, wow. I didn't know that was the thing. I thought they'd just say, I guess they couldn't say retire, because at that point he was, 18 years in, 17. He got out in 11, so he was 18 years in.
Down by the X, you have the reclassification and SF tab. When we come down to the remarks section here, you will see, number 1, request reclassification from 18 Zulu, Green Beret Team Sergeant or Sergeant Major, to 11 Zulu, infantryman. Number 2, concurrent with this reclassification, request the award of the Special Forces tab to Sergeant Major McPhee be revoked.
Hold on a second. I know what you're thinking. Hey, buddy, he did all this stuff. He did. The guy, I liked the guy before he was popular. I'd see him on, this is a guy you'd have a beer with. Kind of quirky, interesting, kind of weird. I liked it. So he's done all this stuff. Why not just say, hey, towards the end of my career, instead of saying I was a Special Forces Sergeant Major, just say, I had a really bad booze problem. And you just, you can slide it off that way. Nate gets into it. Again, check his video out in the description. Why wouldn't you just say that? Because he's done such amazing, just kicking ass, taking names work. And then the end is...
Here, memorandum from the commander, as you can see, recommendation for termination of CMF 18 status, being a Green Beret, and the Special Forces tab of Sergeant Major John McPhee.
Nate had to go very light on the details here. And I can tell you, you do not want to see the details. They will anger you. They angered me. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to steal Nate's thunder, but he's not allowed to talk about a lot of this on YouTube. I mean, he'd get banned. So heinous some of it is. Now, you may say it's the Army jamming him up, or it's another person jamming him up. It's just a lot of details, some of it in his own words, unfortunately. It's like the worst case scenario for a man. I hope he's got a good friend. The whole thing is gut-wrenching. And again, I was a big fan of the guy. I loved what he was doing. He was very entertaining. He had just an amazing career. Well, some of the stories were getting big, the fish stories, but who am I to say? Who am I to judge? I wasn't in the war with him. Come on.
Terminate Sergeant Major McPhee's current MOS, being a Green Beret, and revoke his Special Forces tab. Sergeant Major John McPhee's serious misconduct while assigned to United States Special Operations Command reflects a deficiency in the professional judgment and personal integrity, calling into question his ability to adhere to the personal and professional standards required of a Special Forces sergeant.
Let's give some context here. This is the way I understand it when he was at MacDill, JSOC, when he wasn't as an operator at that point. And now I understand Brent's going to get, from Anti-Hero, going to get into part of this too. But when I understand it, he was a sergeant major at JSOC at MacDill. So he was doing, we'll call it, an admin role of sorts when all this went down, just for context.
Of poor moral character are not continued in the service and advanced position of leadership, trust, and responsibility.
You got to see Nate's video, and he's not going to be able to go into a lot of it. I know, I saw Nate's video. There's no way he can. He's going to allude to it. I can tell you, and I'm not a drama queen, the stuff in there, unfortunately, too, in his own words, in the investigation, I wouldn't want that to come up for any man. You could be saying, hey, the Army jammed him up. There's just 300 pages of stuff that it's hard to find a shining light on.
Also, the MOS change to 11 Zulu, so revocation of the Green Berets. Well, suspension of your special pays, suspension of your security clearance.
Well, that's an interesting one, huh? Security clearance gone, busted down a rank. Wow.
And 30 days to find an assignment at Fort Bragg, vice PCSing to Fort Drum. All right, so obviously these are very, very extreme punishments. The revocation of the Green Beret Special Forces tab, getting your security clearances banned, things like that. But very, very concerning misrepresentation of service because, as we all know him, Sergeant Major McPhee.
This one's a head scratcher. It's like a Tim Walz moment. Tim Walz got promoted to sergeant major, had to, I guess, do 2 years to retire as it. So McPhee was a sergeant major, the way I math it, it may be like 16 years. Absolute rock star, right? Then when he gets there, has all these problems at JSOC about year 17. A lot of it looks like it may be around substances, probably alcohol. That's when all this goes down. Hold on.
Also known as the Sheriff of Baghdad or Shrek. You are a retired U.S. Army Special Operations Sergeant Major with over 20 years.
Well, that's really interesting because what I have here is...
Okay, so what Nate's got is a response from the U.S. Army saying, here's all of his awards, here's his rank, which shows he's not an SF. He's a Master Sergeant. He did not jump into desert. I mean, there's a pretty much confirming. This isn't speculation or inference from a podcast. This is pretty damning stuff.
Service records sent to me directly by U.S. Army Human Resources Command as coordinated through USASOC. And according to the U.S. Army, John is a retired Master Sergeant. That is an...
All right, so Nate covers it. This is a length. He's got, I'm sure there's going to be more videos that come out of this. I've seen a little bit, which was enough for me. I don't know how much he's going to get into. Some of it's just too much. But what it does do is go to John's character. Unfortunately, now it's a long time ago. You may say, hey, we all make mistakes, and I would agree with you. And maybe you move past them, and maybe John comes out and goes, hey, I've been to rehab and therapy, and I made these mistakes, yes, and I'm ashamed of them. That could happen. But he's going around saying all these things which aren't true. It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around. Like, he was a sergeant major. He was in Special Forces. But it appears he's not when he got out. And it appears the other interpersonal stuff that's the part really is unsettling. What do you think? Oh, Lord.